So we used to have that whole fridge filled with Zevia.
Yeah.
And every single podcast, I'd crack open a Zevia and be like, guess what? We're not sponsored by Zevia because they don't know who I am. So how long did we do that for, Ryan? Like a solid 10 episodes. Well, apparently someone told them and they reached out to me, but through my website, which I never check. And they're like, hey, thanks for blasting us on your podcast. If you want, it was just really funny, but I forget you're so sponsored by them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny. Huh?
Have they sent you any?
They sent me a case, but I like the energy ones. They're so good.
I wish we could just bring you some because they send us so many of the energy, and
they're so good.
I like the other kind better. I like the root beer and the cream soda much better.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
They're all really good. I used to not like it, and then it grew on me. The grapefruit and all that.
The same way.
Yeah.
Well, we crushed it at the games. We would be bored at the games and just drink 8 a day. Just 8 energy drinks
What's
in
water?
a row.
Yeah, the mango ginger ones. I'm I'm not ready for that yet.
Really? That's my favorite one.
I had so many of them.
30 of them in 4 days.
It was so many.
At the games, that was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's when they asked me. They're like, hey, if you're going to be at the games, stop by the booth. We'd love to meet you. I didn't go.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I didn't see that email until probably a month after the games. And it was just funny because that email was sitting there. So I kept mentioning how we were not sponsored by Zevia, but we always drink it. I was like, this isn't sponsored. I paid for this Zevia.
We're trying to help you.
It's just delicious. I guess we should do intros.
Wait, is this going?
Yeah, it's going.
Oh, gosh. Cool.
We should have just said no and just kept talking.
But I want to try something different. I want you guys to introduce each other.
Oh, gosh.
Because no one's ever good at introducing themselves. Everyone's always
doing it. I won't even do it for
knowing you,
some
you'd probably be really modest.
Yeah, I don't talk about it. The girl's like, what's your background? I was like, I did gymnastics a little bit.
Yeah. I just dabbled with some gymnastics when I was in college.
For
briefly,
21 casual years.
just a quick 21-year thing. So I'll have Kegan introduce Alex and Alex introduce Kegan.
So this is Alex LaChance, elite level gymnast at Arkansas for 4 years, All-American for your senior year. And then you just dabbled in going to the CrossFit Games your first year going individual. And now you are currently a weightlifter, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Getting ready for the American Open in July. You've snatched, would you snatch 215? Whatever that is in kilos, no idea.
We just some baby weights.
Yeah, just easy 215 snatch, and clean and jerk was 244, I think.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
Also don't know the kilos for that.
Yeah, we're working on the kilo conversion.
Kilo's hard.
Quite there yet.
I know.
Kilo's very hard.
And you also coach gymnastics remotely and in person.
All over. Everywhere. Yeah.
Alex LaChance, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Kegan Dillon. Oh, man. What haven't you done?
Keep it clean, babe.
Man. Okay, Kegan is a really good CrossFit coach, powerlifting coach, and he has done everything sport-wise. He felt like doing Highland Games and just made it to the World Championships for that, just casually.
No big deal.
And then
Sort of.
You guys are just like those people that are just accidentally good at everything.
he just feels like doing something and then just is really good at it. He can do 7 muscle ups in a row when I met him. Probably still can.
Now.
You've done 4 in a row the other day.
You're heavier now. What do you weigh now?
290, 293.
What were you when you guys met?
I was
In
probably
80s?
276, 280.
Yeah. Well, I feel like someone your size, 10 pounds, isn't that noticeable.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 muscle ups is some regional athletes couldn't do that.
But that's 7 300-pound muscle ups. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad the rings can support it.
Yeah. Aren't you ever scared they're going to break?
The rings have broke on me before.
What? Mm-hmm. That's terrifying.
They snapped and I landed on my head holding the ring still in my gym in Arkansas.
How does that even happen?
The chain was just rubbing on the metal
That's so
upright
fucking
and it
crazy.
just snapped.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So if you haven't gathered by now, Kegan and Alex are a thing. They live together and everything. How'd you guys meet? I always like these how'd you guys meet stories.
So we met at a gym in Arizona about 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. She was coming in to play for the Rise, and I was working at a gym called OPEX at the time.
Okay.
And they were part of the team. I think they owned part of the team or whatever, so that's where they
Yeah.
trained.
That's awesome.
He tried to buy me a cupcake and I didn't let him.
Why not?
so scared of him. He was so scary. Like, if you don't know him,
Well, you know what's
so
funny?
scary.
I was terrified of Kegan until I actually talked to him at the Arnold, because the first 2 times I'd ever met you, you're just this big guy and you just didn't say much. And so I didn't either. And I remember asking Matt one time if you were mean, because I was like, the first time I ever met Alex, it was like, oh my gosh, she's so nice, because I always knew who you were. But like we were talking about last night, I've had those experiences where like I've met certain elite athletes and they were fucking assholes, you know?
That makes me so sad.
Especially, and it's always, well, I guess it's guys too, but it seems like it's almost mostly girls. So it's
I feel
funny.
like the girls are like OG and they're like, you're not on our level because you haven't been doing this for as long as we have. And it's just like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, we're
it's
at the same competition. We're on the same podium.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
we should be kind of equals right now.
It's weird how like
But-
competitive fitness gets like that though.
Girls are mean.
Yeah,
Girls are
really.
so mean.
Girls really are. But yeah, it was funny. Like the first time I met you, you were so nice. And then I remember I met you again briefly. I still don't think we said anything to each other. Maybe like, hey, how's it going?
Hey,
and I was like, I remember asking Matt, I was like, is Kegan mean? And he's like, no, he's just Kegan. I was like, okay. That was,
He's like so nice. He's way nicer than he should be most of the time.
Well, then when we actually like hung out at the Arnold's, because Chloe was like kind of about you too. We just didn't know. We didn't.
I could tell that. I was like, I don't think
We
Chloe
just
likes
didn't-
me or you.
No, she loves you. Loves
Like,
you.
hey, Chloe, she's like, I'm like,
Well, Chloe hates everybody. Let's be really clear about this first.
okay, that's fair.
You have to prove yourself 50 times over to Chloe. So it's always really funny to me when she likes people right away, because I'm like, you're so weird because you hate everybody by default automatically. And then once you get to know somebody, you decide you kind of like them. But with you guys, it was just kind of like, they're so cool. They're so great. So
There was like one time at the Arnold, she like threw something at me. I was like, Kegan, she likes me. Like, she threw something at me.
she's
Like,
flirting with me.
it's from, I'm in. Like, we're good.
That's so funny. So yeah, it's like, that's funny how Chloe's like that. But yeah, then it took like hanging out at the Arnold's and I was like, God, Keegan's fucking rad.
I'm like oddly antisocial at times for being a very social person. So
Yeah.
if I know you and we
Yeah.
get along, like I'm super open, super social. If I don't, I'm just really like
Well, it's
closed
like-
off and I'm like, all right.
Well, then there's
I'll
like
be here.
the first time you like meet people, there's always like that awkward small talk at first where you're kind of like feeling them out. And it's always awkward.
I feel like it's more awkward now too because with social media, you all like kind of know things about each
Yeah.
other, but you've never met.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be like, hey, I saw you do this the other day, and you're like, huh.
But I feel like the day and age that we live in though, that's so like common now. Like,
Yeah.
but it's weird when you're talking to someone and you're like, oh yeah, I do this, this, and this. They're like, I know. Do you ever?
Yeah, they're like, we saw you do it. Like, we watched you do that.
You're like, oh yeah.
You're like,
It's
oh, I
just-
PR'd. You're like, oh yeah, 220 the other day. You're like,
yeah, that's
right,
how
we
it
just
always
met.
is.
Huh.
It's
Interesting.
weird how social media does that. Social media is cool though, because then like you meet people. Like, I mean, I know all my employees and all my friends. Like everyone that works here, I met them through social media.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's just kind of cool how that works out. Let's talk about your athletic background. Start
Okay.
with that because I think it's super interesting. You've been an athlete like your whole life.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about you is I know a lot of people who've been athletes their whole life, but they never had any like issues, so
Yeah.
to speak, you know? So your story is really cool and we'll get into all that later. So let's just talk about your athletic background and kind of how you ended up at the CrossFit Games as an individual in 2014. Let's lead up to that point.
So I started in gymnastics. My parents owned a gymnastics school.
Oh, really?
My mom was my coach. We lived above
That's
the
really
gym.
cool. Wow.
Yeah. So my bedroom, like, there's a big plexiglass window, like kind of like this one. I could just like look down and see the gym.
That's
From like
crazy.
sitting on my bed.
And that was in upstate New York.
Yeah, I was in
Okay.
New York. So I did gymnastics, got a scholarship to Arkansas. You
And
know,
you started at like a young age.
like as soon as you can walk.
Wow. Okay.
And then, so yeah, I was like healthy and stuff, like growing up. And then in college, like I'm way big for a gymnast. Like I'm a head
Yeah.
taller than anybody.
You're 5'6".
So everyone's literally like a head taller or a head smaller, like
Yeah.
super skinny.
Yeah.
And I've had legs for my
Yeah.
whole life. I've had arms my whole life.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you
bragging?
need no, it was not helping me. It did not help me. And they're like, well, you need to be like the same weight as everybody else. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't make sense because I'm bigger.
Yeah, you're
And like,
taller and-
so I tried everything to like lose weight and like we'd have to weigh in
This is in college.
for college.
Okay.
Yeah. And our coaches were really strict and like you'd have to weigh in. And if you didn't weigh in at the right weight, you'd have to do cardio until
Oh
you were the
my
right weight. So you weren't allowed to train with the team until
You were the right
you were the right
weight.
weight.
How crazy is that?
That's insane to me.
So there was one girl who would just be doing, it was like elliptical and treadmill, like while we were training until like she could actually be the right weight.
What
to
was the
train.
weight?
I don't remember.
Just something
It
probably
was something
completely
that I
unrealistic.
look back and I don't even know how I weighed that.
But you did it.
I did it, but I mean, we would do, so NCAA has rules, like you're only allowed to train 4 hours a day. Most sports follow that. Gymnastics definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
It would be closer to like 6.
Now,
And then,
why does that rule exist? For protection of the athletes? Or
yeah, I think just so like, because you have to listen to your coach. Like
Right.
you're on scholarship, they technically own you for like 4 years,
Yeah.
and they're trying to make the most out of you,
Right.
which makes you a really good athlete. But they can tell you like you have to be here at like 6 p.m. just randomly, like, or I'm going to text you and you have to be at the arena ready to do a routine at some point tonight.
That's
And so you'd be
crazy.
like doing your homework and be like, I might get a text at any minute, like, oh, I got to go to the gym right now and go train.
That's insane.
So there was rules that were not followed, but it made us really good. Like we
Yeah.
were 5th in the country, which
Really?
is unreal. Like so
So
good.
so collegiate, they all compete. Colleges compete against each other at that level. Okay.
Yeah. So we were top 5 in the country. That's
Wow.
awesome. But we had to do a lot of crazy stuff to be
Right.
that good. And basically, like, everyone has an eating disorder in college.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. Most of the coaches have eating disorders.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of trickles down into the athletes.
Right.
But yeah, like, you're trying to make weight. Like, I would work out for about 2 hours after training just to, like, lose more weight, burn more calories. And then got to the point where, like, I wasn't hitting my weight. Like, I was just like...
Your body was
my
just
coaches
like
were
shutting
"You're too
down or
big."
what?
And,
Now, what's
Like,
too big? What'd you weigh?
gosh, I don't remember. I think I was like... So, like, right now I weigh, like, between 165 and 170.
Yeah.
I was, like, 141.
Which is lean for someone like
yeah.
you. Yeah.
But with, like, big muscles. And I think I needed to be in the 130s.
So you were bulky?
I was, no, they said, you're too big. You're not allowed to lift weights anymore. And I loved lifting weights. They're like, you're only allowed to do cardio. So I would just...
Lifting weights makes you bulky.
Yeah, apparently.
Duh, everyone knows that.
I just wanted to prove the science.
So
Everybody knows
I was
that.
actually banned from the weightlifting gym. So, like, if I walked up
Oh
there,
my
people were like,
God.
you can't be here. Because I, like, loved lifting weights. And it made me feel really good. But then I got banned because they're like, you have too much muscle.
Did you start lifting weights in college? Is that when it started?
I just, like, taught myself.
Yeah.
Because on the gymnastics team, we did a lot of conditioning, but it was all body weight. It was, like, high rep, low weight, stuff to just, like, make you small.
Yeah.
Your goal is to be small and burn calories. So I was like, I love squatting.
Yeah.
I started following some fitness models and saw, like, all this cool stuff that they were doing. And it was so fun.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and then I got banned from it. And I was like, shit, like, I don't know. Sorry if I cussed.
Oh, we can, no, just the drop. You've heard how I talk. Yeah.
And then there came a point where
No kids watch this.
No.
there came a point where I was like, I can't get into the 130s. So I just started throwing up, like,
Yeah. And what age
all
was that?
the time. So I went to college when I was 17. So probably like a year or two, like 2 years into it. So
Okay.
like 19.
19.
And then that went on for the next 9 years.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So now you had an eating disorder up until the games, or was it still?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so how?
It was like not as bad, but I
Right.
still was really messed up with how
With
I
food
ate.
and everything
Like I
like
dropped
that?
10 pounds right before the games.
That's
Like
crazy.
I just stopped.
And this
eating.
is, you guys were together when you went to
No.
the games?
No.
No?
No.
2014.
So we weren't together
right after
until-
is when
It
you.
was like a year after that.
Yeah, a full
Okay.
year after.
Okay.
Because I definitely started, like I was really overtrained. The games I was okay, I think, at regionals. Like I crushed it at regionals. I weighed
Yeah.
170, and then I dropped down to like 160 for the games, and then went right into grid training. Like
From
the
there,
day I
yeah.
got back from the games,
Yeah.
the next day was day one of training camp for
Oh
grid.
my gosh.
And then right after grid, it was like right into training for the open. And I just like I never felt good after the games. Like I got sick at the games and like threw up the whole weekend. So
What'd you place?
like 37th.
37th,
Like
yeah.
I was actually during the muscle up biathlon, which everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna crush. Like I was crawling on my hands and knees and just like I was like, I'm gonna
Was
die.
2014 the year everyone got fucked up?
No.
That was
No,
the year after.
2015.
After.
Yeah.
But I didn't like have anybody there, so like I didn't know people were getting IVs and people had like I was just literally by myself, just like throwing up in that stupid little trailer.
Yeah.
like,
Where were you
the
living
whole
at that
time.
point in time? What region were you in?
I was in Missouri.
Okay, so how'd you end up you graduated school, and then how'd you end up in CrossFit?
So I finished gymnastics.
You got your master's too, right?
Yeah, I got my master's. So I was in Arkansas for 7 years, and I was having so much fun there. Like, it's a small town. Everybody knows you.
Yeah.
And then I started CrossFit there. And the gym that I was at was, like, really fun, but not serious.
Yeah.
And then, I started CrossFit right before the open, and I made it as an individual, like, with just a couple months of training. And I was like, I don't even know the difference between, like, a snatch and a clean. Like, I can't go individual. Like, I made it, but I would be embarrassed.
So wait, you qualified your first year?
For individual regionals.
Regionals, right. So.
And then they're like, you should go team with us. So I went team, and, like, they were just like, it's kind of like a party.
Yeah, it was just like,
I trained really hard for this.
Right.
Like, even it wasn't a long amount of time. I trained hard. I want to, like, see how good I can be.
Right.
And then so I got sponsored by a supplement company, and at the photo shoot, like, one of the girls was like, hey, I'm training for the games. Like, I've been just short of making it every year. You should come move with me. Like, my boyfriend's, like, an awesome coach. You can live with us, train with us, and we can try to make the games together. And I was like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I just, like, moved to Missouri to...
Seems like a common theme with you.
So, yeah, I just moved and trained, and, like, it was my first time getting, like, real CrossFit training, and, like, she was really, really good, and we pushed each other, and, like, we both made the games.
That's awesome.
And then the grid started, and it sounded awesome. And so in order to do grid, you had to move to Phoenix.
Right.
So I just, like, moved to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then had a lot of fun doing that. Got a job there.
That's where we met.
And then met Kegan.
There you go.
Turned him down on the cupcake.
Did you ever take the cupcake offer eventually?
Well, now we eat cupcakes all the time.
But he didn't even like cupcakes. He just heard that I liked cupcakes.
That's adorable.
It was cute.
That's
So,
cute.
It was her birthday. And we were all, like, in the lobby or whatever.
And I love dessert because, like, I was deprived of dessert my whole life.
your
So
whole
now
life.
I'm so about dessert.
That's awesome.
And I don't remember how it happened, but I think it was like, hey, happy birthday. Like, I'll take you out for a cupcake sometime. She's like, I'm not eating those till the season's over. And I was like, okay. Like, literally the next day, she's sitting in the lobby with, like, 3 girls, like, eating a cupcake. And I was like, okay, got it.
Then what finally gave?
A really drunken...
Oh my gosh! Are you gonna say that story?
Halloween night. I don't know about the whole story. So I just got let go from my job. It was probably like a week prior, so this was like Halloween night. So a week prior, I got let go from my job. And I think I had like 1 more month left on my lease, and I was like, okay, like, gonna go have a good time. This is probably the last time we all hang out, whatever. And then...
And I didn't know him. Like, I'd never hung out with him.
Yeah.
Like, didn't know anything about him.
So I had, throughout the course of the day, I think I had like 4 bottles of wine.
During the day?
Like,
4 bottles of wine.
From the day into like the remainder of the night. I don't know if I should, I don't do that anymore. So by the time she showed up to the house I was at, that was a disaster.
Yeah.
So my way of flirting with her was throwing peanut butter cups and trying to make them down her shirt. And then in front of everybody telling her that it was a good idea that she made out with me because I was leaving soon, so it didn't really matter.
And if he got the chocolate down my shirt, I had to go on a date with him where he would buy me actual food that we would eat. He kept saying, like, I'm going to take you on a date. We're going to eat food that I bought for us. And I was like, this is a man. Like, there you go.
None of that worked, by the way. I went home by myself and threw up that night.
And then?
But that was kind of the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And then the gym I was going to after that, she was coaching and training at. Mm-hmm. And then we just kept hanging out. So I had this giant L-shaped couch. So, like, if this was my TV, like, the couch started here and went like that.
Yeah.
I would always sit, like, right here. And every time Alex came over, he would sit as far away as possible.
I'm super shy and nervous around guys. So I, like, I couldn't, like, be close to him.
That's so funny.
Every time she'd come over, she'd, like, move, like, closer. Closer,
just each time.
And closer. It took like 3 weeks before she was sitting like 1 couch cushion away from me.
That's so funny.
I'm shy.
And then that's kind of all she wrote?
Nope.
I
was... So I wanted to take her on like a real date. It was probably like a month after the whole peanut butter cup cleavage incident.
The Halloween incident.
So I wanted to... I was going to take her to Sedona.
Yeah.
Sedona's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to tell her where we were going.
Okay.
So, like, I picked her up, and we started driving, and we were just doing the awkward small talk, because we hadn't really done that yet. Mm-hmm. Through all that, I came to find out that she hates hiking.
Oh,
Because I used to cramp right away. Like 5 steps in, I'd have a huge cramp, and I'd just be like walking, like, holding my side.
And she doesn't really like shopping.
Okay.
And those are like the only 2 things to do in Sedona.
Yeah. So what'd you do?
So we ended up, we went to Sedona. I think we ate, and then we ended up like sitting and eating fudge and like people watching for like 2 hours.
That sounds fun.
It was good.
And then the rest was history.
Okay.
But I had to like fuck up like 3 times
Yeah.
before that could happen.
But at least you're persistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
See,
dessert,
that's-
so I was in.
Yeah, there you go.
I got it with fudge.
Fudge is tight. So do you think you're like how you were, you know, like what you went through with gymnastics training and stuff helped turn you into the athlete you are now?
Yes.
Like whether it taught you hard work or you learned from it or what? Like how'd that carry over?
My mom grew up in communist Hungary.
No shit.
Yeah. So she was on the national team for track.
Wow.
And so she was raised like very disciplined lifestyle, and she raised us the same way.
Okay.
And I think, I mean, it just made me like a really hard worker, and it made me just have like a different standard for myself.
Right.
And that definitely has carried over and made me like definitely maybe sometimes too hard on myself, but
right.
I mean, it gets me good results.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me successful. But yeah, and it's definitely because of how she coached me like all through, you know, like growing up my whole life up until college.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it. It was hard.
Good.
It was
Yeah.
definitely not like your everyday childhood, like
I don't.
growing up. But it was worth it.
Yeah. When we went to Croatia 2 summers ago, the people who owned the CrossFit gym we were training at, she was a Olympic gymnast. She went twice, and she was telling me like over, you know, Eastern Europe over there, like Hungary, Croatia, all those places, what she went through for training being in the Olympics, and they'd pull them out of school.
Yeah.
They'd tell them, they'd like exempt them from school, exempt them from homework. And she said they'd train 8 or 9 hours a day, like full blown, almost like academy.
Yeah.
It was crazy to hear. But what's crazy too is like that gymnastics, how it carries over into like weightlifting and stuff with that body awareness and how all that connects. It's pretty cool.
All the technique is just like such a heavy emphasis on technique. Like gymnastics is about perfection. Weightlifting, like you have to be strong, but it's also about perfection.
Yeah, technique.
And then CrossFit's just everything.
Yeah. So how'd you end up with weightlifting? Because you hurt your back in 2015, right?
Yeah, I hurt 2015 ECCs. I hurt my back on the clean ladder. Finished the competition, and then the open was starting, and we didn't have any time to take off, so I just went right into the open and just like put on a belt, and just like struggled through the open, struggled through regionals.
So you did qualify for regionals though.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Where were you living then?
I was in Arizona.
So you guys stayed in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after the season, I think you were there probably like another year.
Okay.
Before we moved to California.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about, because I didn't know about your history with eating disorders and stuff. And so like talking about last night, it was crazy, like the similarities, you know,
Yeah, it's
our
so messed
experience
up.
had.
It's so messed up.
You kind of, I mean, I'll just kind of let you start talking with that and I'll chime in here and there.
Yeah. So it stemmed from trying to look like the other gymnasts in college.
Yeah.
And it's just not my body type.
Right.
No matter how little I eat or how much I train, like I could only get so tiny. So eventually I just started like we were having like a surprise workout and I had just eaten dinner. And then it was like, okay, get to the gym. We're doing like a mock competition. I was like, fuck, I just ate.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't, like I just ate a lot.
Yeah.
So I threw that up and went to the gym to train. And then it kind of just started happening. And then I would like eat something, but like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. And I would just like go throw up.
Yeah.
And then it came to the point where like in between classes, I would go throw up. And then every day before training, I'd go throw up. And then kind of throughout the night, like I would get so hungry.
You'd binge. And,
I would eat like actual food. And then I would just like go throw up. And like I had roommates.
Yeah.
So I couldn't always, like I was super embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
So I would like sometimes have to leave the house and like maybe go in the backyard, throw up, or like go to Walmart because it was down the road, or it was like so out of control. So it like affected my sleeping.
Yeah.
Like obviously like I was like collapsing in practice. Like your gymnastics takes a lot of energy to jump up and do 2 flips in the air.
Yeah.
But like the skinnier you are in gymnastics, the better you do. So the skinnier I got, like the more my scores were going up. I was like, and then my skinniest, my senior year, like that's when I was All-American.
Yeah. So do you think that like there's a lot to be said about like the mental component that happens with that. And I know it happens with cutting weight where you're exhausted and tired, but you don't feel it because you see what you see in the mirror and you start seeing the abs come through or you start seeing the definition or like, you're doing better in like your gymnastics and stuff. So I have a lot of clients who, when they're on like the tail end of a cut, they're exhausted and tired, but it's almost like masked because their body composition is improving.
So excited about how you're looking. And I would just chug coffee and carrots dipped in mustard. And that's like how I got through.
That's crazy.
But at the same time, like we had a nutritionist and my nutritionist, like I remember I had cereal for breakfast one day and my nutritionist was like, that's way too much protein. Like you shouldn't be having that extra milk. Like you should have orange juice instead. And I was like, okay. And so they literally told us protein was bad. And then they're like, you need to like, are you measuring out your cereal? Because you know how little a cup is? Like you better make sure you're measuring it up so you're only eating like a cup or half a cup of cereal. Right. I'm like, okay, that's like 170 calories. Yeah. And now I'm not supposed to have milk with it.
It's crazy to me. Like I feel like with most sports, like growing up, like from kids all the way to college, like it's very regulated to like protect the athlete.
Right.
And gymnastics is like fucking criminal. Like promoting like you have to look a certain way on the floor, like you'll lose points if you don't like look good. Yeah. Like you have to be this body weight.
That's so crazy.
People are just like, oh, it's just gymnastics.
Yeah. Well, and everyone's like, oh, they're just doing like some flips. I'm like, you don't know what we go through in training. Like it looks like cool and effortless and just like little girls like flipping around, but it's
like I didn't know this. Like if you're not like aesthetically pleasing like on the floor during your routine, like you won't get points because you're ugly
really
or like your body doesn't look perfect.
Like the better you look, the better you score.
That's crazy. So did you have like, were you like hoping to get to the Olympics or what? No, that was never like a goal.
I was like, the Olympics is like, it's very political.
Right.
So if you're like, I was just coached by my mom. Like she has a little gym that she runs. Like we're not in the middle. Like I was never in like a circle where I could like go in that direction. Right. And there's so many good athletes and like to make the team is so hard. Like you pretty much have to be, it's not a clique, but it's very political.
Right.
And there's just so many good girls that are at that level that don't make it.
Right.
Like it's not like the games where like 40 people get to go or something. Like it's like 5 people every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
And like one woman's picking it. So like
so crazy.
Yeah. So I was very realistic that I also knew like my training was so hard, but to go to the Olympics, it would be even it would be even worse.
So did you know that when you were done with college, you were going to be done with gymnastics?
Yeah. I mean, getting through college is just like you're dragging yourself through. You're doing it because it's free. You peak when you're 14 for gymnastics. And then after that, you're pretty much trying to hold on. Like your body hurts so much. Like my Achilles, like if you touched it like barely, it would be excruciating. Like my Achilles were like on the verge of ripping.
That's so crazy.
And just you're taped up. I was popping like 8 ibuprofen a day to get through training. But that's everybody. Yeah. So you're literally getting through just like so you don't have to have like debt for college. You're doing it for free college. But you shouldn't. So I don't think you should do gymnastics in college. Like your body's not. If you trained that hard your whole life to try to get through, like when you're in your high teens and like your low 20s, like it's your body's barely holding it together.
Yeah.
It's just so much pounding.
Yeah.
But I was ready to be done. I wanted to be done before college.
Yeah, but you
like,
had
to
finish,
the whole point
right?
of training was like to have free college.
So then, but you didn't do gymnastics through your master's? You were
you're so you get 4 years and then you're done.
Okay.
So I actually had a lot of fun getting my master's because that's when I I drank for the first time and I went to like parties for the first time. And it was so fun. Like I was like a real person. Yeah. Granted, I had an eating disorder, but like I was
real person with an eating disorder.
But like I had. I mean, I trained when I wanted to.
Right.
Like I got to.
And you got to lift again and stuff like that.
I lifted like 7 hours a day because it was so fun.
So why do you think you graduated college, gymnastics is no longer a pressure anymore, you start to get having fun, but the eating disorder hung around. Yeah. Stayed around. So why do you think that is if there was no longer all that pressure?
I was so happy with how I looked my senior year. I wanted that to just stay. And then I got into, like, I started following, like, I learned about fitness modeling and I learned about, like, girls that, I don't like how the, figure looks like that big, like, V, but I saw, like, fitness models who just, like, had muscles and abs and
Yeah.
like they lifted weights. I was like, that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
it makes me more happy than anything in the world to go to the gym and work out. I could like train for that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what else you could train for. Like I didn't know what CrossFit was.
Yeah.
And so I started training and I like started doing like photo shoots for like different like exercise equipment.
Yeah.
Things like Power Systems magazine and
Yeah.
like I wrote some articles in like some Scottsdale Health,
Yeah.
got that published, did photo shoots with that. And that was really cool. But then like I saw these girls at the photo shoots and like, they'd be like, okay, you're going to do a push-up. And they couldn't do a push-up. And like, they're
Gosh.
doing like planks where they're just like, they looked ripped, but they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, just not
And I was like,
functional.
this
or-
is so frustrating.
yeah.
And they were not very nice. They were very prissy and like
Yeah.
full of themselves. And
Yeah.
I was like, man. And then I heard about CrossFit and I was like, okay, so this is like everyone's doing what I'm already doing.
Right.
But like now they can actually do stuff. Like
Yeah.
they can move heavy weight and like, oh, there's gymnastics in it. And that's cool.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just fell into that. And of course, went right into training 2-a-days. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it just was awesome. But I was still had that eating disorder. So I would be doing all this crazy weightlifting and like throwing up before and after, not eating and all this stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't until like the games, I realized I was like, if I want to like survive a weekend of the games,
Right.
like, I need to be eating. Like
Yeah.
I didn't eat the whole weekend of the games.
Yeah.
Like I had
That's
a
crazy.
maybe like
that is insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
So granted, I was sick. Like I swallowed it. I'd never done an open water swim.
Yeah.
And I swallowed ocean water the whole time.
Oh, yeah,
for,
that'll
like,
just clean you
40
right
minutes. So I literally was.
Cleanse.
It was
Yeah.
so bad. So I threw up the whole weekend. But I also like on top of that just couldn't eat.
Yeah.
Didn't eat and wanted to like. It was so stupid. But I was like, if I eat, like I'm not gonna have abs when they take pictures because they
Right.
take so many pictures at the games. Everyone
Yeah.
has abs.
yeah.
Like who thinks about that?
Yeah.
So I didn't eat before workouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I was crawling on the ground in the muscle up biathlon in a workout that I should be crushing because I was really good at muscle ups. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I kind of just bombed that weekend because I was sick, but also like dealing with that eating disorder. And after that, I was like, okay, if I want to be good, if I'm doing the training, I have to eat.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get better. And that was like the switch where I was like, okay, like
That's
I kinda
really cool.
Figured it out.
Yeah. That's
'Cause
really
I saw
cool.
everyone eating. Like I saw people eating like meat and potatoes
Yeah.
in between events, and I was like, they're eating like food, like
Yeah.
real food.
This is
Do you,
crazy.
do you
couldn't
think
believe
that
it.
by moving out of gymnastics and into CrossFit, where girls are more muscular and girls are bigger, you got more comfortable in your body?
Yes, because then that was the first time that people were like, oh, I want your legs. And in gymnastics,
Isn't
it was
that
like,
a
oh, you're
cool
pretty
thing to
big
hear?
for a gymnast.
Yeah.
Everyone was always like, you're really big for a gymnast. I'm
Yeah.
like, always felt just huge my
Yeah.
whole life. And my mom, you know, like
It's funny, like if you look at pictures, it's like all these little girls, and then there's Alex.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
yeah. And then CrossFit, it's like girls who are trying to get more muscular.
Yeah.
So for the first time, like people wanted to look like me. And I was
Isn't
like,
wasn't that cool though?
That was huge in helping me, especially
Yeah.
when I went to the games. Like I was, you know, I weighed 170 or I weighed 160, but like at
Yeah.
regionals, I didn't have abs or anything. People were like, I want to look like you. And I was like, okay, like not great.
But like you could see them, but yeah.
But I was kind of chubby.
yeah.
But I was like, wow, people want to look like me? Like that's crazy. So I'm like doing something kind of right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you a picture after of what she defines as kind of chubby.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's always, because like obviously, you know, you're like beefy and jacked and stuff, but I can't even begin to tell you how many of my clients have been like, oh, I just want to look like Alex, or like,
so
you know, like
crazy.
it's really like cool for me to hear though, because I mean, most of my clients are CrossFitters,
Yeah.
probably like 80% of them or so. So they always on their oddboard forms, it seems like all the girls are always like, I just kind of want to look like, and then they like say who their favorite CrossFit
Yeah.
person is. But yeah, you're mentioned all the time, and
It's so funny. That's
Yeah.
really cool. That
Yeah.
actually really makes my day.
yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about Kegan a little bit.
Oh boy.
Let's get your background on stuff.
Oh, my background. So I went to college, played basketball for a year.
Okay.
Wasn't like a big fan of how it was structured, and I
Yeah.
was in college, and I wanted to party and couldn't do any of that.
Yeah.
We were opposites.
So I joined the rugby team,
Okay.
which was pretty much all
I could
partying.
1,000,000,000% see you as a rugger.
So I've always been like into fitness and trying to get healthy and like be athletic.
Yeah.
So after college, I was like certified in kettlebells for
Yeah.
RTC and all that. And then I spent a good like 3 or 4 years kind of just being a drunk. And like I had a good paying job, and it would be like, no, seriously, like it would be like we'd work for a week, we'd go gamble, we'd start the week over, and like there was like 5 of us that just like went through that whole rotation for literally like 3 years. And then I was finally like, all right, this has to stop.
Yeah.
So I joined the Army. And I was in the Army for 4 years.
Did your family have a military background or anything?
My grandfather was in the Marines in World War II, but aside from that, nothing. I didn't even tell my parents. So I like one day literally just walked to the recruiter, signed up.
That's crazy.
Home, and I was like, hey guys, guess what I'm doing?
Wow. And how old were you then?
I was 24.
Okay.
My mom was not thrilled.
Yeah, I bet.
To say the least. So that took some smoothing over, but she kind of got it. Joined the Army. I was a paratrooper in the 82nd for 4 years. Had a pretty bad accident on a jump. So like a training exercise, jumping out of a plane. Being 290 pounds, I hit the ground pretty hard.
Yeah.
And found out I had a bleeding disorder.
Wow.
So I have hemophilia B. And once the Army found that out,
they were like, bye.
See you later.
Yeah.
So
because now that's like if anything were to happen, you just bleed out or what? Yeah.
So like
okay.
my whole life, like I bruised really easy. Like I had a bad issue when I had my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah.
But like just where we were, like smaller town, like really shitty hospital.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh no, like no, there's nothing wrong with you. Like we don't need to.
They
test
just
you for
didn't
anything.
even. Yeah.
Like I used to bruise so bad. Like my parents one time got separated at the hospital.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, like tell us what's going on. They thought I was getting abused.
Yeah.
But it was kind of just like big kid, like play hard, fall hard, whatever. Got hurt on the jump. Was like bleeding out into my abdomen.
Oh my God.
And they like called my parents and they're like, hey, your son's got like 30 minutes to live. We need a family history like immediately. And my mom was like, my brother has hemophilia. And they like hung up the phone on her.
Yeah.
Tested me for it. And like just from saying like my brother had hemophilia, like
they saved your life.
When I was younger should have known like we should test you because like the female's the carrier for that gene.
Yeah.
So my mom had it.
Yeah.
And it was likely she passed it on to me.
Okay.
So through that, like the injury, I had an injury to my leg, I had nerve damage and a back problem. So through that, I kind of got into like CrossFit. Like I couldn't lift anything heavy.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll just try to get back into shape. Found OPT, where I ended up going to work about a year after I got coaching from, and that was where we inevitably met.
Yeah.
So through her and like through OPT, I got into coaching about 4 years ago. And then when we moved to California, I was like, okay, I was done with fitness. Like I had a really bad experience in Arizona.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like go to the gym to work out, and I got like a cubicle job.
Yeah.
And it was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Fuck.
He was so miserable.
It was like I was a salesperson for like an aerospace engineering company or whatever, and I was like, oh cool, like they sold military parts to like countries all over the world. And I was like, oh, like I'll be involved in the military in some way. And it turned into like sitting behind a desk for 8 hours a day, like typing up like sales orders.
Sounds
like,
fucking awful.
It was terrible. So for like 2 months, I was like, this is great. Like I have a real job. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Month 3 hit, and I was like, I hate this. So it was like February 3rd. It was like a Monday.
Yeah.
And I literally sat up in bed, and I was like, hey. She's like, what? I was like, I'm going to quit. She was like, what?
I was like, after you get like find another job, right?
I was like, no, I'm going to quit right now.
So I'm going to call them right now. I was like, no, all right.
So I was like, so I called them. Nobody answered.
Shit.
So I like called my manager. She didn't answer her desk. I called her cell phone. She didn't answer. I called the front desk. Nobody answered. So I was just like, all right, I'm just not going to go in.
Yeah.
So I just went to the gym, hung out with Jesse. Her and Katie were training. And then I got a phone call like 4 o'clock. That was like, hey, are you feeling okay? And I was like, oh, right. Yeah, I'm not coming back. So I was like, I'll come back for like 2 weeks. I don't know what like the grace period is for like what I can help you with for a 2 week like notice, since I've only been here 3 months and you guys haven't taught me anything.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we'll get back to you.
Never heard from him again? Huh.
And then I started just coaching, hanging out with Jesse, like kind of learning from him.
Yeah.
As far as powerlifting goes. And then just kind of like things took off from there. I started coaching her, which kind of helped my credibility a lot.
Yeah. So then let's talk about everything you guys have going on now. You have lots going on.
A lot.
So you guys moved to Texas.
We're in Belton, not Sprague, Texas.
Sprague, Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
The gym is a CrossFit Sprague, but Sprague, Texas is not a place.
So me being me assumed that Sprague was like a city, and I was telling people they live in Sprague. I was in Texas telling people they live in Sprague, Texas, and all these people were like, I don't think there's a Sprague, Texas. I was like, oh, well,
it's come to nowhere.
Come to find out there isn't.
So we're down in Belton, Texas. I almost said Sprague. I'm coaching currently a competitors class there, and then I have like a high school powerlifting program, and I do some one-on-ones or like just individualized coaching for some, general pop people down there. And then I have like 22 or something like that remote clients.
Okay. Mostly powerlifting or powerlifting and CrossFit?
Mainly CrossFit.
Okay.
It's a good mix of like CrossFit, powerlifters, and then there's like 4 or 5 people I have that just kind of have like random nagging injuries that they heard through the grapevine. Yeah.
Hi. Kegan's my coach, for those of you that don't know.
And that's going pretty well. I had Sprague went to regionals this year, so that was my first time coaching a team at regionals.
That's awesome.
And then I had a female individual in the Central that went to regionals as well.
Cool.
I didn't get to go out and coach her. Nashville is apparently really expensive.
Yeah.
But she did great.
That's awesome.
So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. And then you have all the gymnastics stuff.
Yeah, so I have a gymnastics app on Train Heroic, and then
That's cool.
together he programs a butt stuff.
Butt
it's
stuff.
like it's an accessory like supplemental program that we do together. That's also on Train Heroic.
Okay.
And then I also have individual gymnastics programming for clients, like remote clients, and
Yeah.
I do one-on-ones for people that are local.
So how do people sign up for butt stuff?
There's a link in my Instagram.
Okay.
In the bio, there's a link you can. It's like takes you to the butt stuff link and the LaChance Fit Gymnastics
Okay,
link.
cool.
And they're both
It's
like I
all
made
in-
them super cheap, so
and
they're
it's-
accessible.
And it's all in the app, which is really easy.
Yeah.
So if you want a butt accessory program to grow your booty, that's where you're going to get it.
One of the girls said she grew an inch in a month.
That's insane.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's
She must be
awesome.
eating good too.
Yeah. How many times a day she's like measuring.
That's so funny. So,
That's
eat a
awesome.
peanut butter sandwich and then
Yes,
measure your
yeah.
butt. Yeah. Let's go through some of these Twitter questions people had for you.
Okay.
It's crazy how I got more questions for you on Twitter and 0 questions on Instagram. Let's see. Where I posted a picture of you. All right, we got 11 questions. Okay, so now we were talking about this in the car on the way. Ashley Hubbard says, how did you handle adrenal dysfunction as an athlete, and what was the recovery process like? So we kind of talked about this in the car, about the term adrenal fatigue and what happens, when you say that word. And
Yeah.
we kind of talked about how it's kind of more like a blanket term, because I think when you say adrenal fatigue, people know what you're talking about, because there's not really anything else to describe it, so to speak. So let's go ahead and talk about that and what you went through with that.
So I kind of said how went right from the games to grid training to open training to regionals back to grid.
Yeah.
And so it's just like never any off time, super high intensity. Grid is like you're training at maximal effort. And if you're playing, it's like every single day you're maxing out.
Yeah.
Full weight, full speed. So going into regionals after doing games, grid, open, regionals, I got to the point where I couldn't eat. So this was like, I didn't have an eating disorder. Like I wanted to eat. I understood how important eating was. And I had macros I was supposed to be hitting. And I was so sick and nauseous every single day. Like, I don't know why. It was just my hormones were so messed up and I was so overtrained. Like I couldn't eat. So a lot of times I could force a cupcake down for dinner.
Well, at least it was good.
I know.
Pick something good.
She'd get up at like 11 or 12.
I'd be so
in the morning
tired.
And would be like a zombie. And then at like 11 or 12 at night, she'd just be like a wired little kid.
But I couldn't sleep.
You were
until,
just like reversed.
I couldn't sleep until like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I wasn't getting that much sleep, but I was sleeping until noon. It felt terrible. Couldn't eat. My body actually, I don't really know how to explain it, but like my body got all messed up. And it was, when I talked to someone about it, they said it was I went through like a fake pregnancy. Like my hormones were
so weird.
It was super weird. It was very weird.
Yeah.
But like everything was so messed up. All my numbers were
She was
all
very moody.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I felt terrible. I couldn't push myself in practice. Like I did all my training as good as I could, but like I should be strong. I couldn't pull weight. I couldn't go
Did you
fast.
feel like you couldn't make fists and like your grip, seriously, like your
I
grip's all
felt
shot and
just
stuff? It's
dead
the
all
worst
the
feeling.
time.
Yeah.
I felt dead all the time, and my coach was just like, it's because you're not eating. It's because you're not sleeping. I'm like, I want to eat. I want to sleep. I literally can't.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And he's like, well, you just have to figure it out. Like, it's your lifestyle choices. I'm like, well, I can't, I'm not choosing to stay up until 4. I'm going to bed at 11 and then laying there until 4.
Yeah.
And then so we went to regionals, and like I've competed my whole life, and I know what it feels like to compete, and I know the adrenaline that you get, and like the nerves and stuff. I felt nothing. So like at the 3, 2, 1 go for every single workout,
So weird. That's
I was like yawning.
2015. Okay.
I was yawning. I was like, I'm so tired. Like I can't even, I'm not excited. I don't feel any nerves. I don't feel anything. So I kind of just dragged myself through. And then everyone's like, oh, you're just not trying. You're just like giving up. I'm like, I want to go
like
so hard.
fucking exhausted.
I can't. Like every inch of me is like, I want to get back on the rope. And I was just like, I can't, I couldn't.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I think there's something wrong because I know how to go hard. And I couldn't go hard. And so we got blood tests and saliva tests, and I found out that they said it was stage 3 adrenal fatigue. And like, and granted, you know, a lot of people say it's made up or like, I just quit or I was just like being lazy. I'm definitely not lazy.
Yeah.
And so I had to take a couple months off, and all that I could, and I felt terrible every single day. I felt terrible, but I could like ride the bike for 20 minutes. It's called zone 1, like at a walking pace.
Yeah. Like full conversation. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I could move for technique, like a barbell, like singles with like 65 pounds, just work on technique, but nothing that got any kind of intensity, nothing that got my heart rate up for several months. Like, would you say like 7 months?
Yeah, it was like 7-8 months. It was between like when we
that
left
long,
and then like until the open, basically.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But I felt terrible the whole. Like I was exhausted every single day.
That's a trip, man.
I know. And like the biggest thing was I couldn't eat or sleep.
Yeah.
So it was terrible.
So what finally ended up happening?
I got a new coach, and then we just. So I wasn't training, and then my new coach was like, "Hey, the American Open is like, you know, like there's one more qualifier like this weekend. You should just like do it because like you've been moving a barbell a little bit." So I just did it, and then I hurt my back right after the American Open at Christmas to the point.
Yeah, the
where,
one
like,
here, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just completely out of nowhere, came home from the gym one day and couldn't stand up. Like was stuck, bent over sideways for 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, it was a while.
Like the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. And we're like, well, the Open's coming. Like I can't train for the Open. So even though like I felt like I was healthy again to train, like my back, I couldn't put my socks on for a couple months. Like couldn't.
That's so fucking nuts.
It was literally like I didn't even do anything weird that day in practice. I just came home and it was like out, like just messed up. So I took that year off because it wasn't even an option. It was like a week before the Open and I still couldn't do a box jump and I couldn't like do any kind of hip contact. Like pulling the bar to my hips just felt like my spine was shattering. So we took that year off and I just did accessory stuff, and that's where the butt stuff program came from. Yeah. Because he gave me just a ton of stuff to like get my back healthy, to like I'd never learned how to use my glutes or hamstrings.
Right.
So he taught me how to do that. And then the following, like that summer, I was like, all right, I'm like I feel like my adrenals are healthy again. My back is healthy enough. And I started training for the Open. And I was just like, man, I just like don't love this. Yeah. I don't love CrossFit. Like I remember what it felt like to like want to just go 100% in a workout. And I was like, I don't have that in me anymore. And like some days after workouts, I just couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. Like my back would just still flare up, and just you never knew if it was going to flare up or not. And then after the second weekend of the Open, I was like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. I really want to Olympic lift, and I feel like I can be really good at it, and I just don't want to CrossFit because I know what it takes to get back to the games, and I don't think my back can handle it. Right. I don't even know if my back could handle like regionals.
Right. So you like made that decision pretty much for the sake of your health, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was willing to do the training, but I just didn't think I could, like, my back would hold up.
Yeah.
And, like...
It was crazy because we were at the Arnold for that open workout, too. And I was watching her, like...
In 2015?
No, just recently.
Year.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It was like watching her do bar muscle-ups, like singles in the workout. I'm like, well, okay, gymnastics is her thing, and it's, like, the thing she's failing at right now. Yeah. You just, like, see in her eyes, just
so
like, I'm over this.
That was this year?
Yeah.
So did you register for the Open at first with the plan of maybe trying to go to regionals, and then
first 2 workouts.
Then halfway through it,
so I was just going to go team because he was coaching the team, and so that made the team really important to me, like because it's his. Like I wanted them to succeed, and then one of the girls was hurt, and she like couldn't do anything, and I was like, if I don't go team, like they don't have a team. Yeah. And it was like the last time all these people were going to be together before people moved for military reasons, and I was like, I have to step up and go team. Yeah. And so I was going to do the Open for that. And then like after the first week of the open, like that other girl was healthy again.
Yeah.
And like she was like, I want regionals more than anything. And I was like, I don't want regionals.
You're like, it's
you know?
yours.
So I was
Take it.
like, yeah, like why am I doing this? I don't want to do it. I know like I can be good at lifting, but I can't be good at lifting while I'm still like just only doing engine work for
Right.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
So I just let her, like, I was just like, I don't want to do this. She got the spot, and
Yeah.
like it worked out awesome for both of us.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of hate for it from other people, but
Oh yeah, they were probably banking on
a lot of people are like, oh, you just quit. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I have proved myself in CrossFit.
Right.
I have won regionals. I've gone to the games.
Yeah.
Like, unless you've done that,
Right.
you don't have any right to tell someone that they're a quitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like you don't have respect for
because
them anymore.
you've done more than that
Yeah.
person. You know
Like,
what I mean?
I don't want to go back to that. Like, I've already done it. I know what it takes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like. I want to do that for another sport now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's really cool though. And you love weightlifting?
Gosh, I love it more than anything. But like,
That's awesome.
That's how I love gymnastics, and that's how I loved CrossFit. So, like, you can't go back to something that you've already like kind
Yeah.
of burnt yourself out on.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's weird. That's how, I don't know. I don't know why people get so burnt out on stuff. I'm assuming it has a lot to do with like programming and how you're training, because that's how I got with powerlifting.
Yeah.
I've gotten burnt out on powerlifting like 3 separate times, you know?
Well, I think sometimes you get to the point where it just feels like a job and you like lose perspective of why you started.
Yeah, and I think once you, I know it's still a hobby and stuff, but I think once you start competing, it almost becomes less of a hobby because it
Yeah.
turns into more
Yeah.
like a chore. And the second you start competing, it's like not really for fun anymore. It's to win. It's
Especially if
for
you're getting
competition.
paid for it. Then
Yeah.
it's like the pressure's on.
Yeah. And especially like when you have sponsors and stuff that, you know,
Yeah.
your sponsors really want you to go to
Yeah.
the games and go to nationals because that does a lot for them as well. So
And even the people that follow you like on social media, they just expect that.
have you
like,
ever lost a sponsor for a stupid reason?
I
Say yes.
yeah, but
You don't
Can
have
I
to
talk
say
about it?
names.
I mean, I guess it's not really like a stupid reason.
You can
Well,
say
I
names
got
if
hurt.
you want to, but
So
don't feel like you have to.
I hurt my back.
Yeah.
And then I never heard from Nike again.
No shit.
And so I
So
was
much for not using names.
what are the I mean
It's Nike. It's the fucking.
I love Nike.
yeah.
Like being sponsored by Nike was like probably one of the coolest things ever. Like
Yeah.
who doesn't dream of being sponsored by Nike?
just shoes galore.
Everything galore.
Yeah.
Like and then I understand like they are the best of the best and
Right.
they care about the best of the best, and I was injured, so I was
Yeah.
not the best of the best. But yeah, then we just like never heard from them again.
Do you think they'll like reach back out to you because they're so involved in weightlifting? No, really.
No. One of the people came up to me from Nike at the games was like, I feel really bad for you. I'm just like, I feel
What
so
the
bad for you. And I was
fuck?
like,
Thanks. Cool. Bye.
I was like, and no, so now I'm sponsored by Fleo, and Babs is
She
like
just
the most
loves
amazing
you,
person.
yeah.
And it's so much more rewarding to work for someone that you know who
Right, you
actually
know
cares about
personally
you.
and you've built
I could
that
hurt my back and
relationship.
she would still support me.
Yeah.
And like she cares.
Yeah. She cares a
Like
lot.
she knows who I am. She cares about me.
She speaks so fucking highly of you and Francesca, like
Yeah.
so highly. She just loves you guys,
Yeah.
and she would like. There's nobody else she would
Yeah.
rather have supporting her brand.
So I understand like the big companies. That's just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not winning and you're not going to the games, I totally get it. Like that's the game.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to be sponsored by Nike, but it's even more cool to be sponsored by people that care about me and
Yeah.
like want the same things.
That's
and
awesome. Yeah, it's crazy how many like I mean I know this isn't the case with like CrossFit and weightlifting, but like bodybuilding sponsors or like they like if you gain any weight, you're off. If you know, and it would just like bring you
Yeah.
right back.
Jamie
to the-
Hagia made a cool post about
Really?
that, where she was like, I think you need to look like you're 26. Like that's the range that models
Yeah.
need to look. And if you're not, it's like you're out. If you
Yeah.
don't have abs, you're out. It's just like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
who's 26? Like not everyone's 26.
Yeah, you know what's really crazy? I had a sponsor drop me because of Savage Swim. They don't like how revealing the bikinis are, and told me they didn't like any pictures of me in a Savage Swim bikini because it wasn't like the image they were looking for. And I was like, really? Like you would think like that's marketing
Yeah,
galore, and
yeah.
like supplement companies want you in bikinis holding their protein, you know. So
Yeah.
that was interesting. I was kind of like, huh? Like I wasn't even that mad because it was kind of just like, okay,
Yeah. Whatever.
that's weird. All right. Took us 10 hours to answer one question. Typical.
Yeah, you have to take a lot of time off for adrenal fatigue. No
Yes.
training, and you have to force the food down.
That's hard though too, as a competitive athlete who like training has been literally a part of your day, every single day, your whole life.
And watching on social media, everyone PRing and everyone just like crushing workouts, and
Yeah.
you're just like riding your bike and like pretending like you're doing something cool.
Yeah, injuries definitely humble a person. Like it's crazy, and like I don't know, after everything I went through with my knee. I remember the first day I squat an empty barbell. I was just like, this is. I mean, I was
excited.
I was literally happier to squat an empty barbell than I was the day I squat 315 weighing 140. I was just like, this is so cool. Yeah. But it definitely gave me like a new appreciation for training, and like now I look at training as like a privilege. Like I get to train every day, opposed to I have to train every day.
Yeah.
And having you has been awesome because you're actually like understanding of my lifestyle, and and I'm busy, and I've had coaches in the past who I was like, hey, I have to go to the Arnold's and do this, and this, and like put on a massive booth. And he'd be like, well, you have to figure out a way to train every morning. Stuff like that, just not understanding. And then so if I would skip a workout, I'd feel like bad, like I failed him.
Yeah.
And so that's like,
how she was.
Yeah.
Especially coming from gymnastics, where it's like, you get a phone call at 10 at night, go do your routine. It's like, well, this is what, and we used to argue about this a lot because for her, it was like, okay, this is what's on the paper.
Right.
I have to do all of this.
Yeah, no matter what.
Like, even if I don't feel good or I'm hurt, like, I have no choice.
Yeah.
This checklist is in front of me. It must be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I have to do. Because it's like gymnastics, like, here's your routine.
And you're
This
doing
is
it no
what you
matter
need to be
what.
good at.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to do this and be good at it.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah,
No, you like skip it. Like, your back hurts.
it's
like,
okay. Yeah.
It's fine. Like,
I'm
I'd rather
still
have you
not good at
go to the
doing
gym
that.
tomorrow after taking like a half day today.
Yeah.
Then do the whole thing today and then not go to the gym for like 3 days.
Yeah, it's harder. Like especially like traveling. I remember I went after Wadapalooza. I went over to Hungary actually.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I remember being there and my coach at the time just being like, "You have to train. You have to find a gym. You have to train." And it like took away from my travel experience.
Yeah.
It just fucking sucked. But now it's kind of like, it's like, I mean I make time for it every day, and like for the most part I'm pretty good about it. If I do miss a workout, I always make it up and stuff. But it's nice to have that option. It's nice to know if I say to you, hey, I couldn't train on Tuesday, I'm going to do it on Wednesday. You're just like, okay, yeah, it's cool.
Right.
And you're like really understanding, which is nice, especially since I'm still kind of like easing back into stuff right now. Someone would like to know, do you incorporate any CrossFit Metcons or WODs into your weightlifting training?
I do miss like getting my heart rate up. So every once in a while I'll have him put just like a fun little something, like I'm not going ham on it, but just something to just like get feel like I got some cardio in.
Yeah.
And, cause it's still fun. I still love CrossFit. I just, can't do it at the games level anymore.
Yeah. What was it? Julie that just,
she does like an hour a day now.
She just
and
said like, I'm
just
done
fun.
competing. This is for my health. I'm going to
she's still like she's still on a regional team, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
No shit, really, huh? She's impressive.
Yeah.
What was the part of competing at the games that surprised you the most, if anything? Is there something you wish you would have done that you didn't?
There's so many things I wish I would have done that I didn't. I wish I would have known the importance of eating and taking care of myself better, so I could have survived the weekend. Like being sick, you can't, I was going to be sick regardless, but I could have taken better care of myself going into it.
Yeah.
Something that surprised me, the whole thing was so overwhelming. Like I didn't want to compete at the games. After regionals, for all of the interviews, they're like, "Oh, you're just some nobody. Like you just made the games." And I was like, I don't want to go. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not even excited. I'm just terrified, and I feel like I'm going to be embarrassed. And so the whole thing was just so overwhelming. And everyone there just seems like they knew what to expect, and they're so used to how crazy and big this competition was. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't have a coach here with me. It just was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was. I wish I could have had a better experience, so I could have appreciated, because so many people want to go to the games and don't ever get to.
Yeah.
And I got to go. It was a bad experience because I was just so unprepared for it, and I didn't have a support system. And, I have all of those things now, but at the time when I really needed it, I was so new, I didn't have it.
Yeah.
So,
Once you decided to commit to competing, how did people close to you handle the fact
competing in a new sport?
time was going? So I think basically what this person's trying to ask is, I think that this person didn't realize your gymnastics background in college and everything. But how did gymnastics? Obviously your mom
Yeah. So my
raised
mom
you. So
and
your-
my dad were
My
like,
family was like involved.
didn't understand CrossFit at all.
Really?
So after they understand gymnastics. Gymnastics is kind of their life.
Yeah.
And then I go to the sport where it's like 150 pull-ups and like people are dying and like
Then they're just
my mom
like,
had
what
to
the
watch me
hell?
crawl around in Carson on the floor like
Yeah.
throwing up, and she's like, why would you want to do this? This is crazy. So they didn't really understand why I
Yeah.
wanted to CrossFit, because it just looked like a bunch of suffering. Because gymnastics is like so like
Graceful
so much finesse, and
and
CrossFit's like
yeah,
people are just
yeah.
dying and spitting and sweating, and so it was like that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
They understand Olympic lifting much better, and like
Yeah.
I think they appreciate it more as a sport.
Because it looks like an
It
art
looks-
the same way
exact-
gymnastics
it's like
does.
gymnastics.
Yeah, it's like ballet.
It has the
It's
Olympics behind it.
so
Yeah.
then the Olympics behind it. Yeah.
So yeah, my parents were just like, we support you, and it's cool that you're making a living from doing this, but
Yeah.
like this is crazy, and how do you have fun doing it?
Yeah.
So-
Just tearing yourself apart.
Yeah.
We actually already talked about that. First, this could probably be a question for both of you. For someone trying to improve strength and conditioning, any recommendations on how training days should be structured? So, I mean, there's
no one
there's
size
no
fits all,
there's
for
no
sure.
right or wrong answer. So, I don't know, Kegan, if you want to like kind of talk about how you approach different. I mean, do you approach each athlete differently depending on?
Yeah, I try to. So I'll put them through like a testing phase. Most of the time, like when we started with you for powerlifting, like I knew your background.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit. I knew of you.
Yeah.
And your lifting, so I didn't have to. Like we didn't have to like test maxes. 'Cause
Yeah.
it wasn't really like.
I don't
what we
even
were
think I
going for.
could have.
And then like for you, because you're just getting back into it, and you're like, I'm really weak. Like I didn't want to like.
Right.
You'd be like, okay, let's do all this testing for you to get super depressed.
Yeah.
Because you're not where you want to be. So it would have been.
I know that feeling.
Help me,
almost,
I'm
like,
weak.
More counterproductive to have you do that and get down on yourself.
Yeah.
And be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Just be like, well, let's just have fun. Like, give you the stuff that I think you need. Plus,
Yeah.
like throwing things that are like engaging for you. So you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this will be cool. Like, I actually want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And do that.
So that's one cool thing about him is like he knows that you have to have fun doing it. So he'll like put things in that he knows you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
For every single athlete, and every single athlete's different. And I've never had a coach that has done that. They just do like, well, this is what you need. I don't care if you hate it.
Yeah. Well, one thing, Scott Paltos,
Yeah. I know the name. I don't know him personally, but.
because he lived in Jersey when we lived in New York, and he was actually, Jesse had him helping me with powerlifting because I was able to go see him, and I didn't know how to fucking bench.
Yeah.
When I started, like the look on Mark Bill's face the first time he saw me bench was just priceless. And he looked at me and he went, "Okay, we have some work to do." And
the
literally,
cameras off, turn the cameras off.
yeah. And it was just, one of those things. So I struggled with bench. Like bench has just been a struggle for me for like 4 years. Just, I hate it. It's grown on me a little bit now that I'm better at it. But like those first couple of years, like I hated everything about it.
Right.
Didn't want to do it.
So even that, like making that fun for you, like adding bands or chains,
Yeah.
or like tempo
Stuff
or
like
something
that.
where you're thinking more than
Yeah.
just being like this sucks.
Yeah, like
This
the
sucks.
variations and
Yeah.
stuff. And that's one thing I've always said is like, for me, because when I was like working under Jesse and Mark, it was like West Side as fuck. Everything was West Side. And I really liked it. But the place I was training at was really limited as to what I could do with bands and change. So that always kind of sucked. I couldn't train the way Jesse wanted me to when I was, when I got back into powerlifting. And then after when I switched to a USAPL coach, all that fun stuff went away.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how much I liked it because all those variations, it's like the reason I like CrossFit so much and I love CrossFit training because I get to do something different every
Right.
single day. And it's like,
It's not like the same boring shit. over
yeah,
and
it's
over
not
and over.
repetitive at all. And like, that's my favorite thing about CrossFit is like the variation, and it's just fun. And you never do the same thing twice. And so that's how it was with like Conjugate.
Yeah.
Everything was always different, always varied, and it felt a lot like CrossFit, which I think is why I enjoyed it so much. So then when I got put onto like DUP, very strict USAPL, I was kind of like, God, this is so fucking boring. Like I hated it. And it was so boring. It was so much work and so much volume. So that's why I like working with you, because you know what I don't like. You know what I need to do, even if I don't like to do it. And so you put just enough in there to get me to do it without me hating it.
Right.
I hate box squats. I fucking hate box squats, but I know that they're necessary, so I just suck it up and do them. But yeah, I mean, it just always feels like, but even with like my training's always different, and it's like powerlifting with like, and it still has that CrossFit feel to it a lot of times. So it's just like, I just get to enjoy it. It's nice. But I was the same way too with like programming and stuff. I was like, I would always ask my clients, like, what do you like to do? What's your favorite? But where I was going to that Scott Paltos, there was one day where Drew and I were there, and we both had really bad training days, and Drew never handled his bad training days all that well, with his mental illness and stuff. And Scott stopped him. He was like literally like on the brink of a fit of rage.
Yep.
Scott stopped him, and Scott looked at me and goes, "What are you really fucking good at?" And Drew's like, "Thrusters." And Scott's like, "Okay, you're going to stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're going to go load that barbell up, and you're going to go fucking do thrusters right now. And you're going to do a thruster workout, and you're going to end this workout on a positive note."
Cool.
And he's like, "I don't give a shit what your programming says." And Drew actually listened to him, which was shocking. And Drew's like, "Okay." And he went and he did like a thruster something, and like ended the day on a really positive note.
Felt great.
Yeah. And so like that spoke so loudly to me, because it's like, there was days too when I was like under the USAPL coach where like I'd have a shit training day. So I would just fucking stop what I was doing and just go do something I wanted to do, and it would improve my mindset.
Yeah.
But that's when I would go off plan and he'd yell at me, thing would come in,
Right.
but it was kind of like one of those things. It was like my sanity was more important to me at that point in time than like finishing a workout that was going to bury me and like put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day.
I mean, I think as far as coaching goes, like everything's pretty much like a very educated guess. Like,
Yeah.
There's nothing saying that like whatever you wrote on paper or whatever your training block is or your strength cycle, nothing saying that's perfect and is like that's the only way to do it. So if it's like, hey, this is really killing me, or like this kind of sucks, it's like, well, if you're going to like call it individual programming, then change it. And like, there's always like I think there should be a structure and a plan. But if you're like, man, like this is really bothering me, or like I'm traveling a lot, or like I didn't have time, so I hopped into this class, or whatever, like I think that's like you're still working out.
Right.
It's not like you're like, hey, I went to the bar,
Yeah.
pizza, and had a burger, and I'm hammered right now. Like, okay, maybe that's like there's a time and a place for that for some people too, but maybe like just doing something that's fun. Because like I think that's why we all started going to the gym for one reason or another.
Yeah.
For the most part. So I think something like, coaching and training under Jesse for a year, his like lift hard, laugh harder mantra like really resonated with me, because it's like, okay, if you're going to compete in like in 8 weeks, like we talked about this yesterday, or 10 weeks, like whatever the block would be, like if you have a competition come up, it's like, okay, we gotta tighten this up a little bit. But if you're like, just like I don't have a competition for like 8 months, it's like, okay, let's have some fun.
That's awesome.
Like, let's make this enjoyable for you while like doing the right things.
Yeah.
And, like having a plan, not just like spitballing it every day and like shooting shotgun at a wall and just picking something. Right?
Yeah.
But making it fun and then be like, okay, these 10 weeks are kind of going to suck and you're going to have to suck it up. And like stick to this based off of how you feel. And even that's kind of changeable, but I don't think that needs to be 52 weeks a year of like,
absolutely.
You have, like nose to the grindstone, beating your head against the wall, killing yourself, because like
Alex knows this.
It's like CrossFit's not going anywhere. Powerlifting's not going anywhere. Like it's not over in a year. Like if it doesn't work out this year, then like we keep building on what you're doing.
And that's like what I just never ever thought about when I first got into like powerlifting, because my first powerlifting meet back, I mean, I didn't do that well in it, but it was in the middle of fucking nowhere, New York, and I won, So it's one of those things where it's like, I got my first powerlifting medal and I was like, this is cool. I want another one of these. And I cared so much about like, I wanted to win. When I first went into it, it was all about winning. And that's all I cared about. And I didn't care about like my numbers as long as they were better than somebody else's. So I stopped setting personal goals. And all I cared about was like, I would like obsessively search who was on the roster and go to their Instagrams and see what they lift. Like I was that crazy person. I would like look at all the names and try to make sure I was going to do well. And I got so obsessed with that fact. It was just, And I kept
be happy like that.
And then I kept forgetting that, powerlifting wasn't going anywhere. And I did like 5 meets my first year back and just burnt myself out bad.
I think athletes and coaches, like athletes want the quick fix to like be as good as they can in like 8 months for the next season or whatever. And coaches kind of want to be able to provide that and be like, well, I turned this guy or girl around in 8 months and here he or she is like crushing regionals. But nobody like pays attention to like what goes on like the 5 to 10 years before that. Like she made the games, which I guess would technically be your second year doing CrossFit. But it was like nobody like, oh my God, what did you do for training? It's like, well, I started walking on my hands when I was 4. And ever since that day, I've been doing gymnastics and strength training, and like my body moves pretty like perfectly. I don't have imbalances for the most part. And then like ultimately like that kind of led to like why she got injured. But anyways, like nobody sees the back end.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, oh, you started CrossFit a year ago and you're at the games. or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
oh, how do we do that? Let
They
me
don't
see
think about your
program.
training age.
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like,
And
well,
that's
I
a
just spent
training age is a
2
huge thing.
decades, like getting good at one very big component of
Yeah.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how many good CrossFitters have like interesting backgrounds in certain sports.
Yeah.
It's weird. All right. What else do we have? Oh, what are your 3 favorite books you've read?
Oh gosh. I haven't read a book in a long time. I used to read all the time.
Really? What type of reading did you do?
I liked fantasy. I mean, I
Like
was
fiction?
Yeah, I was like a huge Harry Potter nerd. I
Well,
read
you know
all
who-
those.
you
like,
know-
I am.
Do you know who's the biggest Harry Potter nerd on the planet? I'll give you one guess.
Say Ben.
Huh?
I said say Ben.
No, Kelsey.
Real? Oh, I love her.
Obsessed.
I
So
freaking love her.
All she reads is Harry Potter. She rereads it over and over and over. So she'll get through all 7 books and then she'll start over.
All right, we're best friends now.
Yeah, she is like, it was so funny. She wanted a Harry Potter cake for her birthday. Like she just
I mean, I
obsessed.
definitely had a Harry Potter cake for one of my
Really?
birthdays.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys can talk Harry Potter sometime next time you see each other. You
It's
guys
just so
have that in
awesome.
common.
Yeah, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like those types of books were my jam.
Yeah, I love Lord of the Rings. This will be a question for both of you. What is one daily habit you have that has helped you stay focused, motivated, etc.? Do you have like a daily ritual other than drinking 97 cups of coffee?
I think coffee is my ritual.
Yeah.
That's my habit, to quote Matt Vincent.
Yeah.
I love to ROMWAD.
Really?
And I love to just like close my eyes and do like, if it was up to me, like I would ROMWAD for like 2 or 3 hours.
That's
I
insane to me because I can't even do it for 5 minutes without just getting
I love
bored.
it. I'll go like in the corner of the gym with the music blasting and I can like block everything out. And it's just so nice to just like breathe and focus and stretch. And
Have
like
you ever-
that's like my me time. That's the only time where I
Yeah.
don't have dogs or like people talking to me or emails. It's just like I'm stretching and it's awesome.
Have you ever tried to get into like meditation or anything?
I want to get into that. Or like
Yeah.
Wim Hof breathing or something
Yeah,
like that.
we did the whole. Actually, Kelly Sturette. It was really funny. We were at his house in Truckee, and I was talking to him about some issues Drew was going through, and he's like, "Well, just have him do Wim Hof." I was
Yeah.
like, "Do what?" And he's like, "Wim Hof." I was like, "What is that?"
He was the first one to mention it to me, too.
Yeah,
At
this was
Mark's
like,
house one night.
yeah, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I was just like, what is it? And he's like, it's this guy, and you do this, this, and this, and you do these breathing exercises in the morning and the cold shower and all that.
Yeah.
And we did it, and it was great. I was able to hold my breath for like 40 seconds longer by the
Yep.
end of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been talking to Cal Kingsbury. He used to train with us at Jesse's. He just moved to Vegas, actually, about like getting into that stuff. He's kind of like pointing me towards some books and
Yeah.
some things. So.
Well, yeah, you can just go to the Wim Hof website, and then
Yeah.
you can like print out it's like a binder of stuff, and then every day you write like how you're feeling and all this stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to do more like me things. Like I think I got really caught up with like the team,
Yeah.
their training and her training,
Yeah.
And like the business was growing and I was getting more remote clients. And this year I kind of want to be like, okay, I want to do like Kegan things. Like I stopped working out for a while.
Yeah.
I just wasn't into doing anything.
Yeah.
And I want to get back into more like self-improvement.
I'm gonna go Rogan for a second. Have you ever done the float tank?
Not yet. She
I
has.
float. Yeah.
Do you like it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you seem like the type of person with kind of what you said about like getting away from, you know,
Yeah.
blocking everything out.
I wish like 60 minutes is a long time for me. I
could.
love like every time I get out at 30 minutes to go pee, and like 30 minutes seems to be like how long I can just like kind of
Yeah.
just do
I
it
wanna
for
do
real.
So bad. It hasn't worked out to where
Yeah, like
you're always
scheduling.
around
Do you
all
have
the
one
time.
where you're at now?
So it's
One
60
also.
minutes away. So
Okay.
it's like kind of a trip. But I do it before every competition.
Yeah.
Or like once I start feeling like really run down, like it makes me feel awesome afterwards.
Yeah. What other types of recovery stuff do you do like cryo or anything like that?
We just don't like, we have to go to Austin for all that
For
stuff.
every- yeah.
I've done cryo here,
Yeah.
or not here, but in Dublin a few times, or Pleasanton. I think they open
Yeah.
U.S. cryotherapy.
Yeah.
Every time I come here, I usually do that once or twice. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
aside from that, there's not much without driving.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hate being cold, so I can't make myself do cryo. I've done it once when we were on the
Really?
rise. When
Yeah,
we had,
you
like,
were
back-to-back
freezing last night at the
competitions.
grocery store.
I am so cold all the time. So
That's
like to
crazy.
be, I
Yeah.
just hate being cold. So at least like the float tank, you don't feel it. It's like relatively warm.
Yeah.
I'd love to do like contrast bathing, like hot.
Oh,
tub,
yeah.
It's too
tub.
cold.
No, that's the best.
It's
No.
just, like,
Do
I
it
don't
in
really
the
have
shower.
the yard for it, so I don't like buy all the stuff that's involved with that. And then
Yeah.
move or change or whatever we're
Yeah.
gonna do.
You can get those little home float tanks now. Have you seen those?
No.
They look like little teepees. And yeah,
awesome.
Joe Rogan put one in his fucking living room, I
Of course
guess.
he did.
Yeah, but it's like you fill it, and then they send you the right salt that you need for it, the float salt.
So much salt though.
Yeah, so they ship it to you on like a pallet with the like tank. Let me see if I can pull
I
it
think he
up.
just got a sauna too, didn't he? Like a dry sauna for his backyard.
Probably.
I wish we had a sauna near us too. There's nothing. We don't have anything in Belton,
Do you have
Texas.
cryo in Reno? Or
Not yet, but I heard there's this place here that's really cool. That's like a recovery gym. So you just pay a drop in, and then when you go there, they have like Normatec boots and Complexes
Yeah, yeah.
and
Oh, that's
Mark
pretty cool.
Pros and like
Yeah. We have that in Austin. But again, it's like
the
Austin.
hot tub, the bath. So
Yeah.
you just go pay a drop in. I think it's like $10.
Oh, that's sweet.
And you can just hang out as long as you want. And they have
Do you want to open one of those and you can like pass donuts around?
yeah, there we go. See,
Trays with like really fancy
Recovery
waiters.
donuts.
butlers and stuff. Yeah, look at. I think it just looks kind of like that.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like, and then it just pops open.
I mean, that's awesome.
That's pretty neat. I
Yeah.
don't know what the maintenance on that is to like keep
Yeah,
it
that's what they
clean
look
and-
like.
But I thought salt keeps it clean, right? Isn't salt
Yeah,
like a
I think to a
disinfectant?
degree, but I'm assuming you got to change it out.
But
once
if
in a
you're the
while.
only one using it, yeah, those are all the big ones. But yeah, the at-home ones just look like that, like little teepee.
That's
You
cool.
can like stick it in your garage or something.
That's pretty awesome.
They're not that much either. They're like $1,200.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, for a
I'm
fucking
considering
float
it's
tank.
like $70 every time you go float anyway.
That much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think here it's like 40.
Oh,
Yeah.
another perk.
Austin's expensive.
Austin's, yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Where
think
can
we
people
covered.
find you on Instagram?
No Pants LaChance.
No Pants LaChance.
Mine's at Kegan Dillon with one E.
Oh yeah,
I always
you know
get the
what?
2E.
I went to high school with a kid. His name was Kegan, and he spelled it 2 E's.
I either get like 2 E's or EA, and it's just KEGAN.
A-N. We talked about where they can get the butt stuff programming or contact you about gymnastics. They can just email you for
Yeah, for coaching or anything, my email's on my profile for Instagram.
Instagram. You guys don't want to add anything else?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, that was a good podcast.
Maybe we'll be on this again.
Yeah.
sooner or later.
Maybe you'll be a permanent staple one day. Who knows? You'll be my co-host. All right, guys. Thank you. Huh? Yeah, we could. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.